15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome everyone to another video from American Stock FPL. This week we'll be going over our Game Week 10 FPL preview. Jason, you had a nice successful wild card last week. Some green arrows, correct?
Yep. Yeah, I'm back into the top 700K finally. So progress at this point, I guess.
Nice. Personally, I was a little bit down. I didn't have Bruno, so I'm just shy of the top 100K now. But all good. In this video, we'll kind of be going over how we did last game week, some of our watch lists, our schedule, what teams we like in the schedule, and then our final recommendations. Before we start, I just want to say we really appreciate all the likes, subscriptions, and comments. If you guys enjoy this video, you guys feel like you're getting some information and rising the ranks in the FPL, we really appreciate the likes and subscriptions. We'd also like to shout out Fantasy Football Scout. We are part of their academy. Check out their link below. We'll be having some discussion with statistics, and those stats are coming from their members site. Check them out, and they also have great articles too. All right, so let's just go in. Jason, tell me a little bit what you saw in game week 9.
All right, so game week 9, first match was Chelsea versus Newcastle. All right, so Chelsea got a clean sheet again. That seems to be a common theme for them. Attacking-wise, Tammy Abraham had the goal and also an own goal from Newcastle. Werner with an assist. One thing I'll note on Chelsea, midweek after the Champions League match, Frank Lampard kind of implied that Abraham and Giroud are kind of battling it out for that number 9 spot, but he did not include Timo Werner in there, so that kind of maybe think he only views Werner as kind of like that left wing forward at this point. So when Pulisic gets back and Havertz gets back, they're gonna have a really crowded midfield / wing forward position there.
So Lampard said that, yeah.
Lampard said it after the Champions League match, yeah, that Abraham and Giroud are the two strikers battling it out for a spot in the team right now.
And Giroud did score an excellent goal to help them.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
So yeah,
good information.
Little crowded there in Chelsea, so it's definitely a wait and see in the attack for me. But I still jump on their defense at this point.
Pulisic and Havertz returned midweek, and then Pulisic is set to return this weekend.
Yep. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they line up now that everyone's kind of getting healthy.
Exactly.
I mean, we know Mason Mount's going to keep his spot, so that's
I think he had an assist in the Champions League.
Yeah, I had assist in the Champions League and in the Premier League too, for that matter. Yeah. Anyways, next match. So Aston Villa lost to Brighton, and Barkley for Villa got injured in the first couple minutes of the match. So that kind of put a big damper on how excited I was for Aston Villa. They still created plenty of chances. Thought they had a PK at the end, which was interesting that Ollie Watkins was stepping up to take after he already took one this season. So even though it got ruled out, at least we kind of know going forward, I think Watkins is pretty much confirmed as on PKs at this point instead of, Grealish. So, tough result for Villa there. I still like them going forward. Hopefully Barkley gets back soon and it's not a major injury. He definitely helps them out in attack a lot. So for now, Villa is a hold for me.
Agreed.
Next match. Yeah. Next match, Spurs versus City. So Spurs kind of put on a masterclass in shutting them down and hitting them on the break. Son got a goal. Kane got an assist. Very, very professional performance from Spurs. Kind of showed that even with the fixtures turning, they can still deliver with their assets. Perhaps not as many of the huge returns we've seen in the past. Look at the underlying data. Spurs really didn't create a ton of chances. They just took them really well. So I'm still kind of getting off Spurs at this point, just to get in on the City, United, and Chelsea assets with their fixtures. But if you wanted to hold Kane and or Son, I can't really blame you. They're still going to deliver returns throughout this tough fixture list. It just won't quite be as explosive as what we've seen in the past. Moving on, Man United was hoping for a bigger score there, but they played kind of a conservative game against West Brom. But Bruno did deliver on the PK after he got to retake it after the keeper was off his line. So big points there for Bruno, who I captained. He's definitely going to be stuck in my team for quite a while now. I'm pretty happy with him, his form, and United's upcoming fixtures look pretty good as well. Lastly, Fulham versus Everton. So Everton went to a different formation here, kind of like a 3-4-3 with wing backs on the outside. Really played to Calvert-Lewin's advantage as they basically just were trying to cross the ball to his head all game. And it worked pretty well. He had a brace against Fulham. I think probably was a little closer at the end than it should have been. Ended up 3-2. So Everton's defense I'm still not high on. But I think Calvert-Lewin kind of remains essential at this point.
Okay, and then I'll take over the second half of the games. West Ham had a nice, comfortable win against Sheffield United. Of note would be Brewster didn't start again. Some fans seem upset about that. Souček had a big chance. Haller had a shot on box, and he had the goal. Bowen and Kufal also looked like they created some chances too. So players I'd just keep a watch on for budget. Leeds and Arsenal blanked. Bamford again had his chances as usual. 2 big chances in the box, 5 shots. Kevin Phillips did return as well for Leeds, so some promising stuff from Leeds. He seems Phillips is great for their defense as they're holding midfielder, and they kept a clean sheet. For Arsenal, again, it's kind of like the same story we've seen in the past. No real attack. Aubameyang's gone missing, etc. Liverpool, they played real well, even with all their injuries, all the COVID. Diego Jota, a nice goal. Firmino, a nice goal. Big chances, multiple big chances for both of them. Mane also had 5 shots in the box and a big chance as well. I'd kind of lean a little bit more Jota than Mane, at least for right now. Up next, Burnley had a nice clean sheet. Zaha has tested positive for COVID and he missed the match. He looks like he's going to miss the next match as well. And without them, Crystal Palace do not create as many chances. Really, it was all Burnley, and Chris Wood had the most chances in the game. Southampton and Wolves, they drew 1-1. Jimenez, he hit the post, and then opponents kind of had a nice tap in, and then Southampton's goal kind of came from some defensive blunders from Wolves. Not a exciting match really. Anything you want to add to this before we move on?
I'll just mention for Southampton, Che Adams had an assist. Even though he's no longer on my team, I still like to track him and support him. I stuck with him for so long, I feel like connected to him at this point.
That's true. Che Adams did have an assist. Alright. So let's go on to my squad. Again, I was 41k. I dropped to about 117, 118. Calvert-Lewin kind of helped me out a lot. A lot of people went heavy on, Bruno captaincy. I was kind of in between who to captain. I went for Rashford even though it was kind of like a fixture over form and it didn't work out. I plan on not really making any changes to my team. I kind of want to have the two. Okay, alright, we should be back. Sorry, technical issues, lost internet for a second. We were just kind of moving on to Jason's team. I think Jason missed the part where I just said, I don't really plan on making any transfers. I want to hold my 2 free transfers and consider getting Bruno. Jason, tell me about your team.
All right, so this is my team coming off a wild card. So overall, I was pretty happy. Got a nice green arrow. I like my defense of Chilwell, Cresswell, and Cancelo. Bruno captain obviously was I think a pretty easy pick, and it came through. I was hoping for a little more from Ziyech and Mane. I thought they were both pretty decent picks for this week, but they didn't really do much. And then we kind of already touched on it, but Ollie Watkins could have had a PK, but I got called back. So a little unlucky there. Big chance for Souček. Also couldn't quite convert that. Bamford continues to get the most chances of basically anyone in the league. So for me, it's he's kind of like a must-have.
I don't know if I'd say must-have, but definitely highly recommend.
Yeah. For his price, it's hard for me to look away from him at this point.
What'd you get him at? Is he 6 yet?
I got him at 6. He's 6.1 right now.
Okay. I have him at 5.9. All right.
One thing I'm going to note on my wild card team, this isn't what I meant to do, but I was getting a little too clever on the final night before the matches. I saw that Ziyech had a chance to rise, so I was holding him to get that extra 0.1. But I wanted KDB in my squad. Then Ziyech didn't rise, and obviously we all know KDB did rise, despite none of the prediction sites having him anywhere close to a rise. So I kind of got priced out of KDB at the last second. Otherwise, he would have been in my squad for this week. But going into next week, Ziyech did rise eventually, so I got that 0.1 back that I really needed. So I'm thinking right now Ziyech to KDB is going to be my move this week. And I'll probably start Mane against Brighton instead of going all the way back to Salah. Just because Brighton are a little more defensively sound on their left side, where Salah primarily going to attack from. While Mane attacking on their right side, they'll be without Tariq Lamptey because of his red card. And it's already a bit weaker on that side defensively anyway. So I think Mane could be a nice sneaky pick this week against Brighton.
Okay, that's not a bad idea. I mean, it's not bad to have Mane. He seems like he's due a little bit more of a result. He's not getting quite as much attack returns as the rest of his teammates, but he's definitely getting some chances. So.
He was very unlucky against Leicester. I thought he really deserved a return in that match.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to the schedule. It's kind of the same stuff that we talked about last week. Keep or consider getting into the Manchester teams and Chelsea. If you have Crystal Palace, Zaha's out, unfortunately, likely because of COVID. But if you have some of their defense, that's not a bad hold for the next 2 game weeks, then get out. Everton is a hold. Villa looks promising. We definitely high on them. West Ham defense, very high on them as well. Jason, anything else to add?
Yeah, I would just say with Leicester, they have 3 great fixtures coming up, so I think that really brings Jamie Vardy into the captaincy equation. Then after that, their fixtures kind of turn for the worse, so it'd be like a short-term punt in my mind. So just kind of an option out there. I'm personally not going to do it. I just don't have the the team structure to bring him in for that match, those 3 matches. But it's just something to consider.
Yeah. Leicester attack hasn't been the best recently, but Vardy's always like the head. If they get returns, it's gonna be Vardy.
Yep.
And they have that fixture looks amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing too new on the watch list either. Jota looks real good buy if he stays consistent with the starts.
Yep.
Bowen has been creating some chances. Cresswell, a decent option as well in the defense. And then with Man City, we might get Aguero back, which could help out De Bruyne and Sterling. Let's move on to the spotlight. And Jason, you've chosen Kevin De Bruyne for this week.
Yeah, so I'm going to kind of compare this to 2 weeks ago when I chose Bruno Fernandes. At that time, United were kind of coming off some rough results. As a team, they weren't creating like what they were, like, in Project Restart. Bruno had been performing pretty well despite the team context. But they had some pretty nice fixtures coming up, and he had some nice underlying stats. So I thought then was the time to pounce on Bruno, and since then he's had just double-digit hauls. So I kind of feel like Kevin De Bruyne is kind of in that same boat right now. Yeah, City have struggled. They really haven't been themselves lately, but his underlying stats are getting there. They're getting healthy, and they got the fixtures coming up. I think he's due for an explosion, so you might want to get in now while he's still only 11.6. So some of the stats I like from him, last 4 matches compared to all FPL midfielders, he's number 3 in big chances created with 3. Number 1 overall in minutes per chance, creating one every 21 minutes. And then number 5 in expected goal involvement at 2.32. That's including some tough matches against like Tottenham last time out. So the real question for me is, like, I think KDB is essential going forward with his fixture run. The big question is whether you can pair him up with another City attacker, which is something I'm not so sure about.
Yeah, he's got some great fixtures ahead of him. Jesus is back. Aguero might be back. Looks like pretty much all of City is healthy now, right? Or will be.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I can't think of any, at least on the attacking side, I can't think of anyone that's going to be out.
Yeah, this is definitely like an investment kind of play where you want to catch the player before he rises even more.
Yeah, what do you think about Raheem Sterling going forward? I know his underlying stats have been pretty much garbage this year. But with the fixture turns, he's someone you're looking at right now?
Let's see what they do in Champions League. I have a little bit of concern because of how well other player, like maybe more rotation, because Ferran Torres has been so good. We know what Mahrez can do too, and just he hasn't produced quite as much as them.
No.
I want to see how this Champions League game comes out for them. I'm kind of high on Ferran Torres, actually. That's someone I'm thinking about. If he gets minutes and stuff, that's someone I would think about, maybe even over Sterling. His just thing of Sterling's price too. With that kind of price, you gotta kind of show me what you can do, type of thing. Like, let me see a result or two, and then I'll probably might pick you up. But there's so many other options at that price and at midfield,
Yeah, I think if you look at like per 90 stats, Ferran Torres is actually outperforming Sterling so far. But like you said, kind of the minutes is the big question for him. Is he going to get minutes? Is he going to start?
Mm-hmm.
If he did, I think he'd be a great pick.
Yeah, he could be explosive. I'd probably say, let me see what the other, before I bring in another big price Man City attack. Let me see what they do. Like, can they do as a team? Let's see them get good results.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to wait for Champions League and wait for the weekend match before I expand beyond KDB for my City assets.
Sterling is in my Champions League fantasy team though, but I'm doing a limit card, so it's a little different. Okay, Jason, tell me a little bit about your checklist.
All right, game week 10 checklist. How are we going to get green arrows here? Number one, something I'm not doing yet, but if I had the transfers, I probably would get Salah back in if you transferred him out. Sounds like he's ready to get back in. Wait for the Champions League, wait for the press conferences just to make sure he's returning this week. But I think getting them back in is going to be pretty key. He already dropped in price down to 12.2, so hopefully he's more affordable. Number two, Man City, like we already touched on, ready for investment. Right now, getting a defender like a Cancelo or a Diaz is pretty safe. KDB in the attack is the safe option. If you want to expand beyond that, I'm taking a wait-and-see approach, like we already said. Number three, Arsenal and Wolves defense looks pretty great this week. Both of them have pretty muted attacks right now, but pretty strong defenses. So I think that could be a fixture that could very well end up 0-0 at this point. Number four, Leicester assets looking pretty strong for this week. And, like we said, the next three, Jamie Vardy looks like he has captain credentials for this little run. But their fixtures do turn after these next three matches, so just beware of that. And also Ricardo Pereira, I believe, is back in training now as well. So if him and Castagne can get in the side, James Justin's little run might be done. But if they start with a back three, he could still get in there. So I would take a wait-and-see approach on their defense for now. It's tough to predict how it's going to shake out.
That was a pretty good 9-10 week run for someone that we questioned at the beginning of the beginning of the season whether he'd play. He did pretty well, James Justin.
Yeah, very versatile too. Played right back, left back, and on the back three as well. Kind of shuffled all around.
Okay, so let's jump straight to the captaincy. I think if I had... So United play Southampton. Bruno.
Yeah, it's not going to be the easiest match. Definitely not.
And it's away, and then also Bruno. He played the full 90 or what? Right.
Champions League, he got subbed out in the 59th minute, so he's rested and ready to go for the weekend.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
In his form right now, like you've said, last two Premier League matches, double-digit hauls. Champions League, he had a brace, created a ton of chances. With the form he's in right now, it's almost hard to shy away from him, even though the fixture is not the best.
Yeah, and then, Salah seems very well rested and everything. Brighton's not a bad team this year, I think, and it is away. I'm not too... let's see how many minutes he plays in the Champions League. KDB is probably who I'm probably going to go with because I don't have... Bruno on my squad. Again, let's see what Champions League news too before I set that in stone.
Yeah, and KDB is not going to play in the Champions League match. He's getting rested.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's not in the squad.
He'll be ready to go for the weekend.
And there wasn't really any news in terms of why KDB... It's just a pure rest, right? There's no injury scare. Yeah.
Yep.
And then Vardy seems like the biggest differential if you want to climb the ranks.
Yep. I'd also say with KDB, historically over the last few matches they've played, City have really kind of battered Burnley. So I think given that history, I know KDB, even though they've battered them, he hasn't truly gotten in on the points like some of his teammates have. But yeah, if I had to pick a captain right now, I think KDB... That'd be my number one pick.
Over Bruno?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Given City's history against Burnley and KDB kind of bubbling underneath the surface, ready to get some points, I think this could be the week that he really breaks out.
So you're kind of going a little bit fixture over form?
Little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I don't think KDB's form is as bad as it might seem right now. Team wise, yeah, City have struggled, but he's been creating chances, getting shots, not quite at his usual clip, but compared to the rest of the league, he's still ranking very highly.
Yeah.
So, and also I mentioned Sadio Mane as a outside shout as a captaincy option as well if anyone still owns him like I do.
Yeah.
That could be a decent one to consider against a Tariq Lamptey.
I'm sure a lot of people own them because when like Salah got that positive result, I bet a lot of people went to Mane. All right, let's go on to our recommendations. Mine are pretty much the same as last week's, except I've now got Bruno Fernandes on the squad. I did take Timo Werner off. KDB, we've kind of already discussed so much. Same with Fernandes. And then Chelsea's defenses, I'm high on as well. They haven't had too many, like, they've had like a lot of like one goal conceding games, like in the Champions League. Just yesterday, they should have could have kept a clean sheet, but conceded late. Chilwell has some nice chances in the he's a nice defender that he creates, and then he also gets shots in the box, which is really interesting. He actually should have scored yesterday on a header. Jason, tell me a little bit about your recommendations.
Well, they're exactly the same as yours, so at least we're thinking alike here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think we already touched on all three of these guys. What you said on Chilwell, yeah, he's getting a lot of shots. I think Hakeem Ziyech crossing the ball in from the right to him arriving at the back post has been really key. I think that's where a lot of his chances have been coming from.
That's exactly what happened. A Ziyech cross, and then it really should have been converted on a free kick.
Yeah. See, I think these three guys are pretty hard to argue. I'd like to see some positive news on Mo Salah just by putting him back in my top three. That's the only reason he's not here right now, because Liverpool does some pretty good fixtures as well.
For sure. Yeah, Salah's name, that's everyone knows that he's Egyptian king, FPL legend. But yeah, I just want to see what happens before I put him back. Alright, I think that pretty much... Oh yeah, just a quick shout out to the league. Brendan has taken over. Phil stays in the top 3. Good stuff overall. I think Dream Combo has climbed as well. And you, Jason, you have hit that top 10 that you've been promising.
Yeah, stayed at my 10 spot week after week now. I think I'm ready to climb a little higher this week, though. Gonna get in that. Top 5 is my next goal.
Top 5.
Slowly but surely.
Alright, if you guys appreciated the video, likes, subscriptions, comments, always appreciated. You can post questions in the comments as well, or make sure you can follow us on Twitter too. Link will be in the description. It's basically Americans Talk FPL without the A. Any final words, Jason?
I think just enjoy the Champions League today, see if anything comes out of that. Wait for some press conferences before the weekend. And keep in mind there's a Friday game this week, so it's an early deadline. But other than that, yeah, let's get ready for some green arrows.
Wow, yeah, Crystal Palace and Newcastle. That's interesting.
Yeah, what a game there. Zaha-less Palace against Newcastle. I can't wait for that one.
Yeah. Probably not going to be too exciting fantasy-wise. Is Kalen Wilson back?
Not to my knowledge yet. He might be, but I haven't seen any positive news on that yet.
Yeah. Anyways, take care, guys.
Yeah, see ya.